Hi, my name is Leah Day, and welcome to this video for the Building Blocks Quilt Along. Today, Josh is going to be stitching out circles and spirals in one of our disappearing 9-patch blocks. So let's get started. So you're kind of working your way into one of our square spirals, and you knocked out a good bit of this block already. How do you like it so far?
I like it. It's it's pretty basic. The straight line spirals are a lot easier than the regular circular spirals.
Circular spirals, yeah. And you should say, clarify that you think it's easy because you're not stitching all of those circles today.
Yes, I was going to get into that when I hit them.
You know, when you get around to them? Okay. Because I could actually hear some quilters going, what? You know, it's one of those things that, again, we're making some modifications to this pattern, and so let's show everybody what you did with your other circles. So you can see here, Josh has basically just stitched all over those circles with something totally new. So you want to tell us about this?
Yeah, I took one look at the circles and I just thought it's too much.
Just too many circles.
Way too many circles. It's going to tire me out. You know, this part would probably look pretty good, look decent, but then as I got around to the end, they would look awful.
They wouldn't be fitting together.
They wouldn't even be ovals. They'd be little tiny bubble rectangles that are all askew. So instead I looked at it and said, you know, what would be an interesting pattern? Because the circle designs are already here. They're already incorporated into the quilt. And so I said, you know, let's just continue with straight lines. And what I did, if you look at each circle, you can see I made a plus sign through it. And I thought that's a neat idea, and I also really enjoyed stitching off of the line. I felt that gave me some good practice.
Excellent. And you know, this is something that's open to you. Because Josh is working on spoonflower cheater cloth, those quilting lines are printed onto the fabric. They're there, they're permanent. That doesn't mean that you have to stitch on all of them, and you can absolutely take those designs, those lines, and turn them into something else with your quilting lines. Like Josh did, adding those straight lines inside of those circles created an entirely different design. So that's open to you too.
And never be afraid to be creative as it's your own quilt, and if you are inspired to do something, you know, different or off the wall, give it a try.
So you want to show us how you were stitching some of those lines?
Yes. Get oriented here. Yeah. Now what's nice about this, I've ditched out most of my lines here, which gives me a nice foundation. So you just go down here like this.
Just aiming for the middle of the circle.
You travel stitch over. Obviously want to do better than that.
That's okay.
Go. And just stay in the middle of each circle.
That's looking great.
I'm going to come along down through here.
And I have to say, that is a lot faster.
Yes, it is. Rotate my block.
That is a lot faster than it took me to stitch all of those circles.
Oh, I imagine. Yeah, I took one look at that and I'm like, that's not happening.
However, I would say if you had more time and, you know, a bit more, you know, like let's say if circles were like kind of your goal of something you really wanted to stitch on your next quilt, then this would be a great way to practice it.
Absolutely, and if you love circles, you know, you probably look at it and say, oh wow, this looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. That looks great. Perfect.
And as you remember, I always have trouble when I get to the edge of a block.
Yeah, control over that corner and right along the edges is tricky, and this is one of those reasons why I really encourage quilters to add more fabric to the edges of blocks, to the edges of quilts. Even 1 inch is not really even enough to really maintain a good, accurate amount of control. It's not wasteful to have that extra fabric if it makes things a lot more comfortable for you to stitch. So you're just knocking out little lines, stitching right across those little circles.
Yep.
That looks great. One thing I'm just noticing, just as, you know, something I've kind of gained a perspective on, having watched Josh quilt through these blocks, and we're over halfway done at this point, is how much his hands have changed, how he holds the block, how he repositions it, how he'll leave his hands in position. And I think that this is something that comes with time and practice. I think this is something that's unique to every quilter. But I really encourage you to take a look back at the beginning videos, especially like maybe that first video we did with straight lines and sharp angles in block number 1. I think it was grid lines. And take a look at that and just compare, going through this many blocks, how much has changed. Both for Josh and maybe for yourself too. This is looking great. So there were a lot of changes in this block that Josh made. So here's a photo of what it looked like finished. And here's a photo of the back. Now taking a look at this is a very different design, but at the same time it was faster to stitch. You liked it better, you made it your own. So you're happy with it?
Oh, very much so. Those circles, they weren't going to happen for me, and I wanted to make it interesting. So, I just looked at it and I came up with that, simple cross shape across each circle.
That's awesome. I think that's really a good way to change something up a little bit and also make it faster to stitch. If you're on a time limit, if you don't have a lot of time during these summer months to get on the block and really dedicate to your quilting time, then having ways to make it faster or ways to make it easier is always nice to know. So my name is Leah Day, and this has been a video for the Building Blocks Quilt Along. Josh has been stitching out today on our Spoonflower cheater cloth panel. You can actually pick this up at Spoonflower. It comes with 42 blocks, all pre-printed, ready to go, with the designs printed on the fabric. So you only have to cut it out, baste it, and get ready to learn how to free motion quilt. So find that at Spoonflower and join us for all of the videos for the Building Blocks Quilt Along. Until next time,
let's go quilt!